Hi, welcome to Ricardo's Crossing. I got really drawn to sort of mucking around with my decks tonight and thought I'd just make a bit of a quick video on just a reading from sort of some of my different decks without going into detail about any of the decks, but I just want to show you the Chinese Oracle by Paolo Paolo Barberi. Okay, so the Chinese Oracle shows you yin and yang energies. So what we're going to do is embrace the masculine and the feminine energies within us. So we're going to be very receptive or accepting of what's going on, very nurturing about what's going on, and we're also going to take action with what's going on. So we're going to be, this is allowing us to be quite practical, quite logical in the situation that's going on. So let's look at the yin energy. So let's see what we need to be receptive of at this time. Okay, so just randomly choose a card. Let's see who we're going to do. We're going to have Rat. And this is talking about a sense of compromise might be really important. So what I'm going to do is, because the book is just so gorgeous, even though I have the word compromise, makes it really, really easy in the yin energies to sort of think about what does it mean by compromising within oneself. You know, is that a good thing in the situation, or is this reminding us that there are times when we can, you know, it's not right for us to compromise. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean things. So we've got the Rat, which is the number 1. So it talks about a powerful life force beneath the negligible energies. The key words are cautious, agile, a culpable to adversities, team worker, someone who's a team worker, someone who works in a team. So the description is, following the fairy, the rats under her divine protection come in flocks to the top of a cliff. Although each of them looks weak and small, the convergence of the whole family generates a great, encouraging and unfolding power, full of vitality. At the peak of the mountain, the rats are overlooking the vast land as if they own the entire world. So we're looking at the yin energies, okay? So this means that this is talking about maybe you're feeling a little timid, maybe you feel like you're cowering on some level, then maybe you're feeling a bit fastidious in what's going on. You might feel like you have a lack of foresight and charisma in a situation. So it might remind you that there are times of needing to compromise, about being having an appropriate adventure. Not all adventures are appropriate. The understanding the message of trusting that voice within you, making long-term plans. So it might be really important for you to take a moment to actually take some time to make some long-term plans and things that are going on within you, and to trust the voice. You know, trust that instinct, that intuition, that little gut instinct that's saying to you, you know, what's going on? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this really what you should be doing? So it's reminding you that there are times when you need to look at the adventure, what lays ahead for you, the path that you want to take. And do you really think that's appropriate for you to be doing? It could be important for you to compromise. Take a look and go, hey, look, I might need to make some compromise on what's going on, to be a little bit receptive and acceptance in what's actually happening for you. So just some thoughts in regards to the Rat in the yin meaning, so in that being receptive in what's going on within you. So now let's look at the yang energy and what is coming. Oh, here we go. That flipped out quite clear. Grab that off the floor. And this is the pig, which talks about forgiving. So the action is about forgive. So be forgiving. You know, forgive others. Forgive yourself. You know, could be something that's quite hard for you. So even though you feel like you're compromising, there's a sense of compromise on some level, it's also about forgiving. So let's look at the pig. Let's come through the animals. It just takes a little while to go through because you actually can't see the numbers on the cards. Okay, so here's number 12, pig. So the sentence is forthright, naive, optimistic and kind. Keywords are easily contented, straightforward, easygoing and happy-go-lucky. Description: without any goal or plan, the pig travels with the snail fairy stopping and starting, making the best of things, despite that the dense misty fog makes the distance blurred. As long as there is sunshine, the pig can find beauty around him. So the yang meanings, so about being taking action, is very important for you to be optimistic, simple living in the moment. So this might be quite a hard thing for you at the moment, to actually find yourself really being in the now, especially if you're a person who always wants to think about the future. You're organising, you're like, hey look, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and it's all about this is the long-term goal. There might be a chance for you to go, hey, wait a minute, I need to actually think about being in the now. And it's interesting because this is talking about, you know, it's very interesting about the compromise and the forgiving. So this is about being direct. So the action meaning, which is quite interesting, so the action meaning is about believing that everything happens for the best. Now that could be quite hard for you to accept, to be in that moment, to know that everything is as it should be. So there you have the Chinese oracle, the yin and yang energies, the message for the moment. So yeah, just something to sort of think about. So we'll put those to one side. Let's see if I can just get that there. So you can sort of see and not see. No, we'll put those to one side. Let's see what we're going to do next. Is we're going to, because we've sort of looked at that. Now, even though I'm saying the Divine Feminine, this is about looking at the energies of the card. I mean, I don't go too much for the book, but I will have a look at the book and see what the book meaning is for the cards that we draw. So what we can do is look at the energies that lie within us. And I know it says embracing, you know, this is about the Divine Feminine and that, but I think you can get so much more out of it. I just love the feminine energies, but again, I think this can be a sense of practicality with it as well. How do we take some of those divine feminine energies and embrace the divine masculine as well? So I think that's really important within all of us. I like to try and really find a balance. So we have Mia Shan, and she's the princess of mercy, and she's giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. Giving is receiving. So this is about giving to others. So again, taking that action, it's about receiving what you want, but also about giving to another. So let's see what Mia Shan has. Now I like this that it's actually in alphabetical order. K-L. Oh, maybe. Oh no, they're not. How did we find this before? Oh, it's another one of those really difficult books because they're not in order, which makes it so hard. I wish they would choose either numbers or it's at 108. Okay, so this is one of those really hard. I wish that this is the only problem I find with this deck, is that, which is why I haven't used it a lot with the book. I actually end up not using the book because you end up with such a thing. Okay, so who is she? Mia Shan represents the incarnation fulfillment of mercy. She was a Chinese princess who was believed to have lived during the Tang dynasty, 618 to 907, and to have been the incarnation of the goddess Kuan Yin. So you got that sense of compassion, having compassion for others. She was the daughter of a king who wanted her to marry a wealthy man in order to secure more wealth and power for himself. When she refused, the king sent her to live in a monastery on a secluded island off the coast of China. So it goes on, and it talks all about that, which is quite interesting. So when your soul selects her card, the author, Sue Monk, articulates the process of empathy. So clearly when she writes, empathy is the most mysterious transaction that the human soul can have, and it's accessible to all of us. But we have to give ourselves the opportunity to identify, to plunge ourselves in a story where we see the world from the bottom up or through another's eyes or heart. Empathy is mercy's twin sister. When we can feel into the reality of someone else's suffering, we open up to the possibility of mercy. And it goes, there's quite a lot of information in here. You think about it, like, all I want to do is find the, really sort of doesn't tell you too much about the soul voice meditation. Who can I give mercy to in this moment? So this is about being understanding of others. So this is about understanding who others are at this time. So this might be a chance for you to take a step back and look at how others are feeling at this time. So the intention is giving is receiving, the energy of the universe is merciful. So I just keep getting, this is a sense, I keep getting a sense of just being compassionate with self and compassionate with others. When others are going through a difficult time, try not to be judgmental in what's happening and what's going on. So that might be quite hard for some of you, and some of that energy that's going on within yourself. So let's have a look at card number 2, and it's Zhu Sheng, the Mystic of Peace. I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. So I get a sense of just being it, just finding that moment of being at peace with self. I think it's quite beautiful in that energy of just finding yourself and just not rushing around and just going, hey, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. I need to find a sense of stillness within self. Find that inner peace. Don't always be poor me, poor me, poor me. It's about moving forward and understanding that everybody has difficult moments, and it's how you choose to move forward. And I don't want to discredit or minimize your emotions or what you're actually going through, but it's how you choose to move forward that will make a big difference in your own life, and how you choose to react when others are upset or uptight or going through a really difficult time. So I think that's really cool. So you look at that compromise and that forgiving, and you have that same compassion and that inner peace. It's quite interesting when you look at the cards. So what's what I like doing when you choose a whole lot of cards. I love seeing what the overall message will be when we choose a whole lot of different decks, which is why I'm sort of mucking around with this now. I just thought you'd like to share, you'd like to hear a little bit of a different sort of energy that sort of comes through. So let's see what the Creature Teacher cards say. I think I love this little deck. It's actually one of my daughters, my daughter Letitia. I shouldn't really say her name too loud. Letitia's deck, which she passed on to Shelley, and Shelley's returned it to me. Unfortunately, I don't have the book anymore, but I'm so pleased that they kept this deck and returned it to me. Okay, here we go, the mouse, and I looked at it a couple of times, and it's about keeping promises. So I feel like it's very important, the promises that you've made to yourself as well as to others need to be kept. And that's really interesting. I love that. So that's very important, because sometimes we make promises to ourselves and yet we still don't keep them. we deviate or we move on. And this is about the dove with I am loved. I love that. So the promises that you've made for yourself, and knowing that even though there are times when we can be really harsh and really critical with ourselves, we need to love who we are. We need to find that inner peace, that stillness. It's amazing, these cards that come through again and again. Having compassion for self is really important. Forgiving self, really important. And to have that sense of compromise. Now, that compromise is not about compromising your own challenges and things that are going on, but allowing yourself to find that inner peace, that inner love within oneself. I think it's really, I love us. I love to look when you've got a whole lot of decks and how they work together is really neat. So we might get a different message or we get the possum. I accept help. So sometimes to have compassion within oneself, you actually need to ask for help from someone else. So that's it from the Creature Teacher card. Let's see how these 3 decks move together in a reading. And this is going to be a bit hard, but what I'm going to do is I actually don't want to, I've got no idea how I'm going to do this, because this is a bit hard to, so we'll see how we go. So what we're going to do is card number 1 is the mouse, and the mouse talks about keeping your promises, right? So this is about whatever promise you've made to yourself or to others. It's really important that you actually think about that and acknowledge that promise you've made and really work towards keeping it on some level. And if there is a problem, communicate that issue. Next we have the rat, which talks about compromise. That's interesting. We've got the rat and the mouse together. And I get a sense of when you promises, remember that there are times that you might need to not be able to keep your promise for some reason. And there might be a reason why you need to acknowledge that and maybe make a decision to how you're actually going to deal with that, to making the compromise that you need. You might need to let something go so that you can keep your promise on some level. So I feel like there's a sense of letting something go so that you can keep your promise. Really important. So with the possum, of actually needing help, so to do that, to have that compromise, you actually might need to ask for some help. Really important. And again, that sense of compassion, having compassion for oneself, allowing yourself to have that understanding of what somebody else needs. That might be important for you to actually ask somebody else as well to help you, to guide you in that sense. And a sense maybe of forgiving self for what's going on. Maybe you're in a really difficult situation and you really need to have compassion for self, having an understanding of what's actually going on, because sometimes things are out of our control. So we just need to know that we're supported and we're loved for what's going on. So because of that, it allows us to actually be in the moment. Being in the moment allows us to love who we are as an individual. Okay, so just a real quick video I thought for Sunday night, as the videos we'll be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, just the 4 videos of the week, and I thought it would be quite nice to just throw in a little extra with a little bit of a reading, with some thoughts that you could think about for the week, because a reading won't go through until Friday, of course, until the intuitive Friday reading for next weekend. So I thought it would be quite nice for you to sort of think about the week ahead, and some things that you can think about, compromise, thinking about the promises, thinking about asking for help from others, or maybe someone's asking you for help, having some compassion or understanding with me or Shan. But I really want to think about the energies and the vibrations and the essence of the cards, really, more than just what the animals are about, or what the divine feminine's about, or what the animals and the yin and yang energy is about. It's really about the essence of the cards. It's really about the vibrations. So yeah, take care and blessed be from Hekate's Crossing. Okay, let's oops, put that through.